If you have a flight booked to Dubai, Doha, Abu Dhabi, or anywhere across the Middle East right now, or if your route connects through one of those hubs, here's what you need to know. As of February 28, 2026, more than 1,000 flights have been cancelled at Dubai and Abu Dhabi alone. 8 countries closed their airspace at the same time. Emirates, Qatar Airways, and Etihad Airways have all suspended operations simultaneously, marking the worst single-day aviation shutdown the region has ever seen. On the morning of February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched coordinated military operations against Iran. The operation involved 2 American carrier strike groups, more than 150 aircraft, dozens of warships, and approximately 200 Israeli fighter jets, targeting 500 military sites across Iran. Iran's response extended far beyond Israel. Ballistic missiles struck U.S. bases and Gulf allies across the region, including Bahrain's 5th Fleet headquarters and Qatar's Al Udeid Air Base, and targeted Kuwait, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Syria, and Iraq. Every Gulf state except Oman received missile fire that morning. A drone struck Kuwait International Airport's Terminal 1, injuring airport employees. Over Dubai, air defense systems intercepted incoming missiles, but debris landed in residential areas near the Fairmont on Palm Jumeirah. The Burj Khalifa was evacuated. When 8 governments close their airspace in the same morning, the global aviation network doesn't slow gradually. It locks up. Full closures are in effect for Iran, Israel, Iraq, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Jordan's airspace is effectively empty. Syria closed its southern corridors along the Israeli border. The United Arab Emirates described its shutdown as temporary and partial, but no commercial flights are operating. Dubai International, Al Maktoum International, and Abu Dhabi are suspended until further notice. Oman briefly closed Muscat International, but kept its broader airspace open, making it one of the few functioning Gulf entry points. Saudi Arabia kept its airspace open and is serving as a key diversion corridor alongside Egypt and Turkey. The European Aviation Safety Agency issued a conflict zone information bulletin covering all flight levels across Bahrain, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia, with high-risk assessments at every altitude. India designated much of the Middle East a high-security risk zone. Germany barred its carriers from Iranian airspace. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration had already prohibited American carriers from flying over Iran before the first strike. Even where airspace remains technically open, airlines are treating the region as unworkable until the security picture changes. The Gulf carriers are most consequential globally. Emirates suspended Dubai operations through at least 3 p.m. United Arab Emirates time, March 1st. Etihad suspended Abu Dhabi departures through 2 p.m. March 1st. Qatar Airways halted operations out of Doha. Fly Dubai and Air Arabia grounded fleets. Gulf Air and Kuwait Airways were grounded due to national closures. International carriers followed. Lufthansa suspended regional flights through March 7th. British Airways cancelled Tel Aviv and Bahrain through March 3rd. Turkish Airlines reduced regional schedules. Cathay Pacific suspended Middle East operations. Singapore Airlines cancelled Dubai and Jeddah flights. Air India suspended Middle East services. United cancelled Dubai through March 4th. Wizz Air suspended Israel, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Amman. Norwegian, Finnair, Iberia, SAS, Pakistan International Airlines, LOT, Egypt Air, Sri Lankan, and ITA announced suspensions. Limited operations continue via Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt. If travel is unavoidable, Istanbul, Cairo, Casablanca, and Riyadh are currently the most viable alternative connection points. Your flight doesn't need to land in Dubai or Doha to be cancelled. Emirates, Etihad, and Qatar Airways connect Europe to Asia, Australia to the Americas, and Africa worldwide, routing through Gulf hubs. Nearly half of Dubai International's passengers are connecting travelers. When all three hubs shut simultaneously, those itineraries disappear. Sydney to London via Dubai, London to Singapore via Doha, Mumbai to New York via Abu Dhabi. Those journeys currently don't exist as booked. Since Russian airspace closed in 2022, many European and Asian carriers routed traffic through the Middle East corridor. That workaround is now gone. Europe to Asia routes face hours of detours, costing $6,000 to $7,500 per extra flight hour on wide-body aircraft. Many airlines are choosing cancellation over economics. Air India's suspension illustrates the cascade. The India-Dubai corridor alone runs 538 weekly flights across 23 Indian cities, moving 12 million passengers annually. That pipeline is now dark. When closures hit, aircraft already airborne diverted. Emirates flights bound for the United States landed in Rome, Munich, Hamburg, Vienna, Budapest, and Prague within hours. Etihad's New York flight was diverted to Muscat, and its Atlanta service was diverted to Istanbul. A Qatar Airways Melbourne to Doha flight returned to Melbourne. A Dallas to Doha flight returned to Dallas. United's Newark to Dubai service turned around over the Atlantic. Air Canada's Toronto to Dubai flight returned after more than 10 hours airborne. Passengers woke up in countries they never intended to visit, with no onward connections and unclear timelines. If that's you, your airline must offer rebooking or a full refund. Contact Emirates, Etihad, Qatar Airways, or your operating carrier directly. Ask specifically about force majeure rebooking policies before accepting vouchers. First, confirm your flight status directly with your airline, not through third-party booking platforms. Status is changing hourly. Second, review rebooking and refund rights. Most carriers have issued extraordinary circumstance notices allowing free changes or refunds. If you must travel urgently, viable gateways are limited. Consider Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, Istanbul in Turkey, Cairo in Egypt, or Muscat in Oman with partial operations. If your destination is in Saudi Arabia or another area not fully closed, check whether a carrier that does not depend on restricted airspace can operate your route. If travel is non-essential, waiting reduces the risk of layered disruption. The timeline is unknown. In April 2024, Iran-Israel exchanges disrupted airspace for roughly from 24 to 48 hours. In June 2025, fighting lasted 12 days, with partial reopenings beginning June 24, 2025. Iranian airspace stayed restricted longer, but Dubai International still posted record annual passenger numbers for 2025 once the acute phase ended. Less reassuring comparisons exist. The Qatar blockade beginning in 2017 lasted 3.5 years. Russian airspace closed in February 2022 and remained shut. U.S. officials have signaled preparation for sustained operations lasting weeks. No ceasefire framework exists as of February 28, 2026. For planning purposes, assume several days to a week of acute disruption, with broader uncertainty extending longer. Airlines did not wait because of January 8, 2020. Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752 departed Tehran and was shot down minutes later by Iranian surface-to-air missiles, killing all 176 people on board after being misidentified during retaliatory strikes. Iran denied responsibility for 3 days. UN Special Rapporteur Agnes Callamard later stated that had Iran closed its airspace, 176 lives would have been saved. EASA cited Flight 752 directly in its February 2026 conflict bulletin. That reference helps explain the aggressive shutdowns. When missiles are active in shared airspace, airlines do not wait for reassurance. The cost of miscalculation is not measured in delay fees. As of February 28, 2026, Dubai International is closed, Abu Dhabi is closed, Doha is closed, Kuwait City is closed. 8 airspaces shut simultaneously. Over 1,000 flights were cancelled in one day. The 3 largest Gulf hub airlines suspended operations at once. If you are flying to or through the region this week, contact your airline directly. Confirm before going to the airport. Review rebooking and refund rights. Consider Istanbul, Cairo, Muscat, or Riyadh only if travel is essential. If it can wait, let it wait. The situation is evolving hour by hour. Base decisions only on confirmed airline communications, not assumptions. If someone you know is traveling through the region, share this with them before they head to the airport.